That's
Yeah,
that.
my life is away in boxes right now, so you won't get my face this week.
Mercifully, you don't have to look at Rhett's mug this week.
It's solidarity when you can look into all of our eyes, more or less. Now one of us could be planning something insidious.
Could be planning. Come on now. Let's give us more
true.
credit than that. We are absolutely, definitely planning.
Yeah.
And planning is what you have to do in February 2022 because, holy shit, what an insane month for games.
Man, there's your Horizons and your and your Elden Rings and fucking
Dying
Light 2 is this month and
Sifu
oh
was this
jeez,
month.
Sifu. Oh my god.
The
That's
Cyberpunk
insane.
2077 they should have released in the first place.
Yeah, that also happened.
Well, what do you guys want to talk about first?
I've been playing that Cyberpunk.
All right, let's get it.
Okay, so first of all, because I was playing a PS4 version on a PS5, my console experience was pretty much as good as it could get, given the circumstances. So I didn't have like a completely bad shit experience like some people did, but it still wasn't great. It still crashed. It still had troubles. You still had got some T-posing in there once in a while. Crashes were the worst thing, and now all that shit is in the past. All of it. Now it's just a really, really nice looking game in a cool, beautiful city where things kind of happen sometimes. I was like taking a drive down a road, just to like some markers, some missions, some tarot cards, some shit like that, and I hear this screaming noise, and this guy plummets out of the sky beside me. I look just in time to see him smook into the pavement. I'm like, oh, what the hell? and like police will be making busts. I don't remember if this is a part of it or not. It just sort of like felt like it always been there, but maybe not. Where police, you'd see them in the middle of making busts. Either they'd be like literally in the process right that second of like capping some dipshits with their like high powered weaponry, or they'd have the police tape up around a scene. You'd see them like sitting there taking notes and pictures and shit like that with a couple of corpses laid out and like maybe one car slightly on fire.
Mm-hmm.
And that was different. And yeah, it just looks and feels fine, good, great. Like nothing crashed, nothing slipped up. One thing I have noticed now that I've got no technical distractions is that the story content feels fun and it flows well, and it's an interesting, compelling story. No matter which way you go, you get some sort of weird, fucked up ending that you get to like chew on and process, and it's all, reasonably well developed. The side content is bullshit. Like the side missions are exhausting and boring and like really badly balanced, where they will either be like cake or you will just die. You will go to a place and then you will be all holes and no cheese, so to speak, and then you just have to like save scum your ass out of there and come back another day.
It's interesting that you say that about the story content. That's one of the things I think I was the roughest on when this game came out. That there's such a vast gulf in quality between missions like that first one they showed at E3 a million years ago, where you kind of infiltrate the factory and there's a bunch of different choices, and you either align with the cop or you don't align with the cop, etc., etc. And that was the only thing in the entire game like that. Everything else seemed like they had the intention of doing that and they didn't get there, or they changed their minds and altered the structure. I don't know. It was just all over the map for me, but you're right about the endings. The endings are pretty good.
Yeah, and like in my personal experience, like just picking it up and playing it this last like week or so, I felt like most of the missions I've experienced so far have been very like perfectly satisfactory in terms of story. Like, I'm not like, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I'm not blown away. I'm not like picking my jaw up off the ground or anything, but like, it's a reasonably interesting story, and I'm interested in the idea that like these people like playing through the beginning for the second time especially. It's fascinating how much the whole game builds up the idea that you are not meant to survive to the end of this adventure. I find that very interesting. That there's so many little cues from so many characters being like, it's very possible you will die at the end of this. In fact, you canonically in the story prefer that. Which I found fascinating.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot easier to see that stuff too, because the game now plays in a functional manner. Like, immediately firing it up, it just feels better. The movement is better, the aiming is better, the gunplay is better. You know, it plays like a competent open world first person game now, when it didn't before.
Yeah.
And it's pretty important, as it turns out.
Yeah.
Brett, you said you've been touching this too. What's up with that? What are you feeling?
Yeah, I don't really have anything to compare it to though, because I didn't play it the first time around.
Well, that's
but I mean, coming in, it's pretty sweet. Yeah, I haven't played it too much. I've been busy with other stuff, but from what I've seen, yeah, the city looks cool. The character creator was nice. I've enjoyed the music, the little bits of music that I have heard so far. I picked the Nomad to start off, although I've read that it doesn't really matter. You get one opening mission that's different, and then it's the same essentially from there on. So I picked the Nomad though, and yeah, it's been pretty cool. Starting outside of the city. I guess that's the only like path that you can take that starts you off with a car. So it was nice to be able to kind of test that out before getting into the game. Yeah, I wish I had more to say, but when I put more hours in, I will.
The driving is actually a game changer, because vehicles were undrivable in the original game. It was like, a deer on ice skates on a rink, and the skates were dull. They were just slip sliding all over the place, really floaty. But it feels a lot better now.
Yeah, the haptic feedback for driving is nice.
Yeah.
Because you can just sort of leave it like a quarter pressed, and then you're going at like, city speeds. And then you can just like reef right on it if you want to really fucking give her.
That's sort of the general consensus that I've heard from people online is like, you want to play this on the PS5 now just so you can use the DualSense with it.
Yeah. I have it on Xbox, so I'm stuck with the bullshit Xbox triggers. The bzz, 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 bzz. Okay, what does that mean? Nothing. That's what it means. It means you should have put more money into your haptics, Xbox.
Yeah, it does.
Christ. Speaking of, well, we probably can't talk about that. Rhett, you're playing Gran Turismo.
Oh, and
we probably can't talk about that.
Probably can't talk about that, but yeah, I'm playing Gran Turismo 7, and it's a game.
Good to know.
For PlayStation consoles.
Yes.
Developed by Polyphony Digital.
Right? Yep.
And it's the 7th one in the series.
Yep. It is.
All of these are such facts. Jesus Christ.
Totally. And
I'm so informed.
Yeah. Chock full of cars. Chock full of racing. Yeah.
When can we hear a little bit more subjective opinion about this game, Rhett?
It is going to be March 3rd, because the 4th is the launch day. Whichever day. If it comes out on the 3rd, it'll be the 2nd. If it comes out on the 4th, it'll be the 3rd. It's a day before launch.
All
that
right.
is when you'll see everybody giving their opinion on it. And I mean, I expect there to be favorable scores, favorable reviews, but man, I feel like Elden Ring is just gonna bury any sort of any sort of monumental achievement that Gran Turismo makes with their game here, I can't imagine that anybody's going to be paying attention to this with how well Elden Ring is doing. It's crazy.
Well, the good news is there is very, very little overlap between car nuts and the sadists that appreciate Souls games.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Venn diagram is just two circles.
Yep. Yeah, I guess we could talk about Elden Ring. I know that none of us have played it, but Mark reviewed it for the site. He gave it a 98.
Yeah. Not quite as high as IGN, but close.
A lot of hundreds for this game.
Yeah, a lot of hundreds.
I kind of expected that number to start ticking down over the course of today as reviews came out, but nope. So at a 97. 97. And that's pretty hard to believe, honestly, because it's just such a niche market. So,
well, it's just what happens when you get every site has at least one employee or one writer who's fucking obsessed with Souls games, and then so all the review work gravitates towards these people, and so the scores are all wackadoo. But that problem will persist with the players because, again, you're either into these games or you aren't, and there's a very clean dividing line. So anybody at this point who's willing to spend their money on them is probably going to review them quite favorably. So
they have tried to pitch this as the Souls game for everybody.
I've seen a couple of people online being like, no, that's not true. All right, listen.
Mark strongly disagreed with that in the reviews. Like, no, this is a Souls game, and it's going to mess you up, son. But, I am mildly optimistic that there will be the opportunity to hide on top of a cliff and sling spells at bosses from incredible distances where there's no way they can get to you. Those cheese strats are going to happen. And if they happen enough that I can make my way through the game and experience that nice little world while not hating my life, hey, we might have a winner on our hands, folks.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'll try anything once.
Nice.
If that thing involves playing like a clever goblin and not like a brave warrior, then yes, by all means, sign me up.
Yes, clever goblin class.
Yeah. Small ducking around corners, putting all your points in this one really reliable fireball or something. Just cheap shit like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Just an incredibly sized mana pool. Spam fireballs for days. Something that staggers as well as does damage would be ideal.
Yeah. Yeah.
But, that's not the only open world game out there. A couple other biggies. One that we've talked about. One that we were absolutely forbidden from talking about last time. That being Horizon Forbidden West.
Yep.
Which I reviewed, and I feel like probably we should talk about.
Yeah. It should come up.
It's really good.
Yeah. So here,
that's the long and the short of it. Is it's really good. Hey, you always say this when they're like a first party game of some type comes out, and it is now the craziest looking thing you've ever seen. People, it happens 3 or 4 times a year. Like this game looks insane. It looks crazy. Well, this is one of those. This game looks crazy. The level of detail is something I have seen before, but that I have not seen before in an open world environment. Like if you get into the photo mode in Horizon and you zoom all the way in on something, it looks real. You zoom in on the grass, and the grass has individual blades. You zoom in on somebody's face, and they've got the little peach fuzz on parts of their face that don't really have facial hair. They got the peach fuzz. If the sun is shining behind Aloy, you can see the sun diffusing through her ear because they've figured out how to do that. Have the light scatter through her ear. Things like that. It's just
Are those effects you find in the photo mode though?
They're in game too.
They're in game too, yeah. It's impressive. Yeah. It's impressive.
that's one of the things I actually noticed most about the PS5 version for sure is that the assets and the characters especially are identical in cutscenes versus gameplay. Yeah. There is not a lick of difference. And Guerrilla has always kind of had that pedigree of pulling a lot out of the machine they're working on. You know, they did it with Killzone Shadowfall, and they did it with the original Horizon. And this one is a step up in the level of their storytelling. I think Zero Dawn had some issues with how it paced its story, and it made it not exactly memorable. This one is much, much better at that. And, you know, providing set pieces and providing moments for the characters that make you want to keep going. You know, it's a huge world with 1,000,001 things to do, but I felt myself compelled, despite the, you know, outside of the pressures of being in a review cycle and having to finish the game by a certain date, I felt compelled to go back to the main story beats. You know, you always want to go collect everything and you want to try all the side missions and do all that stuff. But I felt compelled to go back to the main missions because I wanted to see what happened. Not because I needed to finish the game. I just wanted to see what was next for Aloy and company. And, you know, that's a relatively unique thing to find in an open world game that is story driven, but not necessarily story focused.
Did she find a man in this game?
There are men. There are men.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Right. But none for her.
Do you think that's what's missing from Aloy's character? She needs a good man in her life?
That's why I quit. That's why I quit the first one.
She's married to the bow, man.
Married to the bow, yeah, fair.
No romance options. That was the problem with the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, she seems pretty into machines, if you ask me.
Oh, okay. So
I'm not saying anything here.
right.
It's like the song, the Ninja Turtle song, Donatello Does Machines. Yeah.
Interesting. Maybe I need to go back and play the first one then. But in all seriousness, do I need to play the first one to play the second?
Well, you don't need to play it. You need to know the story, though.
Okay.
It's very much a continuation of the first one, and a lot of the beats, especially near the end of the first one, where, you know, there are plenty of revelations about the world and the nature of it and what has happened in the past to get to this point. You got to know those things. Otherwise, the story's not going to make any sense. But watching a recap video, more than enough.
Yeah.
More than enough.
Okay.
But would highly, highly recommend picking this game up. Engrossing from start to finish. Took me about 50 hours on initial playthrough. And that was 43% of the game. A handy completionometer in the game, and that was 43%. And in that initial run-through, there were several things in the completion screen that I didn't actually find the first one of. There were several collectibles and types of missions that I did zero of, because I didn't run across them. That's a big-ass world. And
Types of missions.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shit,
Whole sections of the pie that you just didn't even approach.
Crazy.
And not for lack of looking around, because I wanted to look at everything. Especially the environments are incredible looking. They have really hit a balance on how to render both close and far objects in a way that looks very believable. It's basically a desktop background generator where you come over a hill and you go, wow, I'm going to photo mode right now because I want to make this my desktop background. This is a great phone background. And it's constant. The amount of effort and detail that's put into every single biome in this game is absurd. If they'd done something like this with Halo Infinite, that would have been a game worth playing. Had to get a zinger in there.
Yeah, well, hey, you know, with the hours getting late, wasn't sure you're gonna get make that happen, but there you go.
I'm just pointing out the facts here. It's been 5 years since Guerrilla put out a game, and they managed to produce a massive world with probably upwards of 20 different biomes. Halo Infinite has been in development for twice that long, and it has won.
Yep, that's true.
Them's the facts, people. If and when Halo gets to the point that it has this many biomes, then you should go play it.
Even like half this many biomes.
Sure, just give me a good ice level and a good fire level. That's probably enough.
Mario rules.
Yeah. Ice, fire, and underground.
And a haunted house. I need
Yes,
haunted
yes,
house.
also haunted house. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to get those horror elements in there. Mario staple. But yeah, I highly recommend Horizon Forbidden West. Well worth the time and the money and the effort. Will say though that as good a game as it is and as fun as the combat is and the machines are great, etc., is a little bit janky. I took a little bit of heat on this on YouTube for comparing it to Breath of the Wild and saying that it is not as seamless as that world, where Link can go anywhere, can climb anything, can do whatever he wants, no problem. Well, Aloy can only climb certain walls. They have decided that this is a rock that you can climb, and you can't really tell by looking at the rock whether it's a climbable rock or not, even if they look the same. So that's maybe a very, very minor complaint, but traversal is not the point of this game, so take that however you want.
They don't hit you with the classic open worlds like yellow marker on a ledge to indicate you can climb up here, or like, a piece of rope or something like that. There's nothing like that to indicate.
There's a little bit of that on any like old world structures that you can climb.
Okay.
Otherwise, Aloy has a device that you can scan the environment, and that's a big part of figuring stuff out about the world. And the effect is almost identical to the Death Stranding ping. And immediately, the first time I did that, I was like, shit, that is the same engine as this, isn't it? Yeah. Also very interesting is that in the credits, there's quite a few call-outs specifically to Kojima Productions. So it sounds like possibly they contributed to this game in some way or another. I don't know how much, but
that'll be interesting to find out in the aftermath.
Yeah.
It piques my interest. I'd like to get in there and figure out what's going on. Hideo, did he have anything to do with this? Probably not.
You got to take a look at the Horizon Forbidden West logo. Does it say Metal Gear Solid 6 somewhere in there?
Ah, okay.
I need you to find that out, Red.
I'll take a look.
What else have you been playing, guys?
I been playing the Final Fantasy VI Pixel Remaster.
Yes.
Yeah. This was kind of a tough one for me to talk about critically, because I just really like the game. And so it's kind of hard for me to say, okay, is this a really good version of the game, or am I just having fun playing Final Fantasy VI? The music is pretty banging, so it's got that going for it. All the tunes are brand new. They're orchestrated. They're fully instrumented. There's the opera house sequence has like vocals, like actual sung vocals. That's also where they showcase some of the cleaner sprite work, and where they showcase some of the 2D HD effects. That all just sort of comes together in one pretty impressive scene. Yeah, the sprites are interesting because they're the same dimension and essential structure as the old sprites. Like fundamentally in that level, they're the same, but they've been like redrawn and colored differently. So they stand out more. They pop more. They're very like, very, very, very much like, very effusive, very bright. And they've been redrawn in some cases slightly. So like, when you see it, you're like, oh, that's different, but you can't quite put your finger on why. It's interesting. And there's a quick save function, which is great, and then there's an auto battle system, which is great, where like every character makes a move, and then you just press a button, and it remembers those moves and just keeps using them. Mm-hmm. Which is really handy when you're doing like dumb level grinding or just looking for AP or whatever. The font isn't the best, but I guess you can fix that, and it doesn't bother me enough to actually want to change it. I don't know. Yeah, it's good. I was convinced that the special effects for some of the battles and the attacks, like the Blitz aura beam or whatever, and like some of the fireballs and shit like that, to me, I was sure that it was new. I'm less sure now. Because like, I was playing again like last night. I was just like, is this new? I don't know if it's new anymore. I can't tell it's new anymore. It all just sort of blends together into the game. And it's just like, well, okay. It's obviously I'm losing my mind. That's fine. But anyways, it looks awesome. Looks crisp. Looks delightful. Looks delicious. Yeah. And the game itself, if you've never played it, is fucking amazing. Has a lot of the stuff I really like. Harvesting sources of power and like customizing characters and min-maxing and looking for secrets and shit. And strange mini games. All things I like. So it's a real winner.
Yeah, that game and probably that year, it's kind of a turning point for RPGs where we went from stories that were pretty low effort, not necessarily that well written, not necessarily too many thinking moments. But Final Fantasy VI is very much about questioning one's own existence and a lot of pretty deep themes and a lot of dark themes that it's a little bit surprising Nintendo let that out in 1994. But
yeah, I'm always caught off guard by how fucking awful Kefka is.
Oh man,
he's just like,
yeah, diabolical.
You don't really see villains do shit like that as often in modern games because they're actual war crimes. You don't see villains committing that many war crimes in your colorful JRPGs. You just don't.
Yeah. He just casually poisons an entire country of people, killing everyone.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it's almost played for laughs because, he is a literal clown.
Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah. Easy recommendation for that one for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what's next for the Pixel Remaster kind of things. Would be neat to see them do some of the other classic Squaresoft games that didn't make it over to the States especially.
Live Alive looks dope.
Yes.
Great
game.
Looks amazing.
Even things like Bahamut Lagoon.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff out there that, from that mid-90s Squaresoft heyday. I'd like to see it. I'll buy it, guys. I'll buy it.
Yeah. Me too. I think they're doing like a Dragon Quest game in that 2D HD style.
Okay.
But I can't remember if it's got anything even resembling a release date.
It's interesting. It's like it seems like you were either a Final Fantasy kid or a Dragon Quest kid.
Yeah.
As a kid, I don't think I ever even played a Dragon Quest game.
It's a very different experience.
Yes, very much so. Still children killing God to save the world, but
yeah,
totally different though. I've also been playing. This is a total change of pace, but I've also been playing, as you might have guessed, Destiny 2. Played a lot of that, and the new expansion just came out yesterday. In fact,
oh,
The Witch Queen.
Oh boy,
and it's some good shit. They have done some good work. Great art, interesting puzzles, interesting missions. you've been out of the Destiny game, this is a great time to get back in.
Does the witch find a man in this one?
Oh, the witch finds all kinds of men in this one.
Okay, like, thank God. So that's really what this game was missing.
Yeah. The ageless, impossible killing machine really needed some personal companionship, right?
Totally.
Just
Just a man.
some time. Time to grind, so to speak.
Yeah.
And,
She needed she needed a regular dude as well, not somebody on her level. She needed a dude who's working a 9 to 5. He's going to the office, he's punching his card, he's coming home, maybe he's making dinner for her, a little spaghetti bolognese.
Delicious.
Yeah, garlic bread, maybe throw something like that. That's really what she needs.
The classic combination.
Yeah. So, anyway, sorry, Paul, go on.
Oh no, I haven't finished it yet, so I'm hoping that is upcoming. I can't wait for the Bolognese minigame.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
If it's not there, I'm going to be pissed at this point.
Promises are made, guys.
I did also play what I would definitely term a finding a man simulator as a nice little palate cleanser. That was Stardew Valley.
Oh, a game where you actually can find a man.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah.
By all means.
By all means.
You just got to give the right gifts to the right people, at the right
Yeah.
time. Don't forget their birthday, you criminal.
And so you're playing Stardew. Are you a Stardew veteran, or is this a new thing that you've been getting into?
It's not my first. It's not my first rodeo, but it's quite a bit different from the release version. They've added a lot. They've added a lot over the course of time, and it's nice to get back in there. A very easy way to waste your entire life if you let it.
Yeah, it's dangerous shit. You just want to do one more day, get one more thing done, and like it's something really ingenious about even just the way the cycles work, where like in order to save the game and stop, you also have to start a new day. Mm-hmm. So you can get caught in this loop where you're like, okay, I'm just gonna save, and it's like, oh, but a day just started. What if I got some things done real quick? Just take a minute. It's a rather ingenious design, honestly.
Yeah, and before you know it, you're on the 35th level of the mine, and it's 6 days later in real time.
Yeah, 6 real human days.
He's making a new game, by the way.
I know. It's like a haunted chocolatier or something.
Oh, it sounds fantastic. I'm sure it will be outstanding and phenomenal in every way possible. Guys.
Yeah.
What other games do we have to talk about here? In February 2022, the biggest month possibly on record.
Yeah, pretty big. I don't know.
What the fuck came out? Oh, Sifu? No, we talked Sifu last time, didn't we?
Did we?
Yeah.
Sifu's fucking great. Either way, it's fucking great.
I downloaded it. Haven't played it yet.
If you enjoyed the combat in Sleeping Dogs, you're gonna love
Okay.
Sifu. It's and like I hold Sleeping Dogs very near and dear to my heart. But yeah, Sifu is like the first game that's given me that feeling since when did that come out? 2013, Sleeping Dogs? Like almost 10 years. This is the first game that's I feel like it's captured that just like hard-hitting martial art style combat that it's tough but so satisfying.
It seems like they've done a really great job with the sound effects.
Oh yeah, it does. It sounds just like an action movie, all your whips and all that. It's great. It's great. Like it really does feel like you're in a it does feel like you're in like the first level. I was saying now it reminds me, we were talking about it last time, but the first level reminds me so much of Old Boy. The scene from Old Boy when they pan back and it's just the one steady shot, panning the camera down the hallway as he takes everybody out. There's clearly a scene in the game that one of the first like big fights in the game is clearly taken from that, and it's done so well. So fun.
Awesome.
Here's a question for everybody. What is the best punch sound in video games?
Oh,
Damn. Oh.
So I know what my answer is.
yeah. What's your answer?
Thought of it immediately as Rhett was doing his live demonstration of Sifu's sound effects. It's got to be the punch from Final Fight.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty remarkable punch noise.
You know, I'll insert a few of those here in the podcast so
Yeah.
everybody can remember what that's like. Oh, God. I was playing it, I think, on the SNES Mini over Extra Life this past year. And, God. Wow. What a noise. What happened to us that we can't consistently produce noises of that quality anymore?
Yeah. Yeah, fucked up.
Well, we're more into realistic ambience and immersion and shit, which is nonsense.
Come on. Are you telling me that Elden Ring wouldn't be better if it had some Final Fight punch noises in it?
It would be much better.
You know, you like we were talking about, you launch a fireball at the beasts from across the map and it contacts them with that punch noise. Oh man.
That would rule.
It would.
Oh yeah. It gets me excited.
You can hear it in your voice. Anything else of note?
I did spend a few days digging into Earthbound just because it showed up on the SNES Switch line, because they've been slowly adding stuff. So Banjo-Kazooie just got on pretty recently, which I tried for the first time, and then Earthbound, and then the Earthbound Classic, the NES one.
Is this your first Earthbound experience?
No, not even close.
Okay, good.
I played it like 7 or 8 times front to back.
I always coveted that giant Earthbound box. Never got one.
Oh yeah.
And now it's impossible to get a real one.
Yeah, you can get the the Nintendo has released the official player's guide as a PDF.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you can check it out. It's the one from '95 too, or whatever.
Nice.
So it looks extremely retro and extremely '90s.
Let's also go on record here and say that what is Nintendo up to? Not releasing Mother 3 in the North Americas. It's been translated. What's the problem? What's the problem here? We don't know how the saga ends. Canonically, we don't know what happens.
True.
You know, what goes on with all those star men? What is a Gigas?
Yeah. I think historically the reason behind that is that, like, if you take in the lifetime sales in North America of Earthbound, it's really, really bad, Paul. Like, they're really, really bad numbers.
But I mean, how many of those giant boxes did they actually make? Couldn't have been more than, 50 or 100 total.
Yeah.
You're really limiting yourself there.
It's true. If they dropped the original physical player's guide, and like a switched cartridge with all 3 games, it would sell.
Yeah, it would. It really would. But, if you really want one of those, you can go on Etsy. You can get one that looks exactly like the real deal. You'll know that you're a giant faker. The rest of the world will not be any the wiser.
No, I suppose they won't.
But you'll have to live with that. I don't know if I could.
No. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I would probably be able to sleep at night pretty much fine, actually.
Fuck that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Endless sleepless nights, tossing and turning in bed. It's not real. It's not real.
It's tearing the family apart.
Yeah. Every holiday dinner is a super tense one because your children and your spouse are all you lying piece of shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna slice the bed in half down the middle, and you can sleep on the smaller one. I lied. It was actually a very uneven cut. I'm taking the kids to my aunt's in 3 days. That sort of shit.
It's a real dark dystopia that we're creating here. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I want to see the game based on that. The game based on the family dynamic of a man who wouldn't buy a legit copy of Earthbound.
Yeah. So his wife cuts the bed in half, but it's 70-30.
Mm-hmm.
That's hot. It's hot.
There's a mini game somewhere in there where you're playing as the wife at this point, where she has to open the Earthbound cartridge to determine if it's a real SNES cartridge or a ripoff.
All right.
Yeah. You could use the Joy-Cons. You've got to actually do the unscrewing motion with the Joy-Cons.
Right? Like, it writes itself.
Man, this is going to be so good.
Yeah, totally. I'm on board.
If we're lucky, we'll get some of that Manscaped money.
Oh, no. Harry's razors.
We're moving up in the world.
Man.
Harry's a classy guy.
Man, and his razors are better. I've tried them side by side. Dollar Shave ain't got shit on Harry. Not that we're getting paid, but, it's a little free advertisement for them.
Yeah, that's quite a callback. That was a running gag like 2 years ago.
Still waiting on that money. Still waiting on that
Yeah,
sponsorship.
one day, guys. One day. Don't you worry. One day.
All right. I didn't write down any news. I don't know if anybody else knows if there's news in the world of video games. Video games only. That's the only news I want.
The whole community has been eating itself with feverish joy over the incredible scores for Elden Ring, which have been just hitting the rafters. Which it's interesting because I've seen all sorts of sub-conversations come out about it where, like, not only are people divided on the scores, but there's been a lot of conversation about how this 1 week before release time frame is complete bullshit. Like, a lot of people were talking about how they couldn't quite get through the game no matter how hard they worked because everybody was in agreement you would have needed like 2 or 3 weeks. Somebody was like, yeah, I put in like 45, 50 hours before the review embargo lifted, and I probably covered a fucking sliver of this game world. Just a slip of it compared to what's still out there.
Is that a good thing?
That's debatable because, like, if it's just like empty bullshit content, then, like, yeah, nobody cares. But, like, if it maintains that Dark Souls quality, the specific one that people are super hot for, like front to back, it's gonna find an audience, right? Like A lot of people are going to be into that shit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. People are going to buy this regardless, but we were talking about this on Discord today. That is my biggest complaint with the FromSoft games. They talk a big game about the world and the lore and the environment and the storytelling. I think it's all bullshit. You know, they write everything as though it's so self-important, and it is the most profound, unbelievable world that's ever been created, and they know it. Oh. The problem is, it's not. It's really not. You know, you'll just roll up to somebody's house in Bloodborne, and they're like, "I'm not coming outside," and people go, "Oh my god, the lore." Come on. Yeah. You know, you're fooling yourselves. You're fooling yourselves. Maybe there's stuff to read in there, but God, they make it impenetrable.
It's really interesting because, like, I was watching somebody do, like, a way too recent, like, years later breakdown of Bloodborne. And it was like a jokey, sum it up really quick and make a bunch of jokes. And even through that filter, you're like, oh, there's stuff about that story. I had no idea that's what essentially was happening. That's fucking bananas. That's banana sandwiches on rye. What the hell?
Well, it'd be nice if they fucking told the story. Holy shit.
It's just like every other part of the game where it's just like, this is something you must discover for yourself, which includes essentially how to play it. And they can't deviate from that formula in any area, or else it'll blow the brand, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, they're completely fucked. They can't escape unless they spin off a different studio.
You know, it's interesting because, like, the creator of the series, he's been caught in interviews. People are like, why do you put those horrible poison swamps in the game? And he's just, I just love making poison swamps. I don't even mean to do it. We're just in the design process, and there you go, another poison swamp in this one. And it's just like, if these games are brutal and weird and obtuse and whatnot, it's because the guy just can't stop making them that way.
Very strange addiction.
Yeah.
Okay, I respect it.
It's love of the game, if nothing else, you know.
I would love to see a spin-off studio, though. I could call it 2 Software.
Yeah.
You got From. You need 2.
Yeah.
Where it's the exact opposite. It's a literal inverse of everything that Souls games are.
So, just the easiest shit you've ever played. It's basically a walking simulator.
Yeah.
That doesn't look good. Is clunky.
Well, I mean, arguably, Elden Ring might be the first good-looking From game, except for Demon Souls, but that's only because somebody else made the graphics.
Yeah.
Or the good version.
Yeah.
Yeah, the character creator screenshots, you see Dark Souls 3 and Elden Ring side by side. It's literally night and day. It's just like the clunky monstrosities, beautiful magazine models. It's just like there's hardly any comparison.
Yeah, I swear, especially for Bloodborne, man, they hired the people who made the characters from Elder Scrolls Oblivion and said, don't change anything. Use the exact same techniques and technology as you used for that 10-year-old game.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. So you get some real homunculi.
That's true. Very true.
Some real rough approximations of human beings.
Yeah. Real talk, though, I'll probably end up buying it.
Real talk. 100%. You can't
based on how crammed my playing schedule is, I'm going to wait till it's on sale. Probably. Just because, like, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then when it does, then I'll buy it. It's fine.
Yeah, it'll go on sale in the summer, probably.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
The dark times. When everyone needs their own Elden Ring.
Yeah, when if you're in a room without air conditioning, you might die. It's fine.
Do we really think that's going to happen again this year? Like, what are the odds?
God, like 1 in 4? That's my personal bet right now. 1 in 4 odds that we end up with another heat wave.
Yeah.
Not a dome exactly, but we'll just get like a 3-4 days where it's like, oh fuck, what if we melted? We might. Yeah. One of those things.
They're going to make up a new name. Heat Dome won't have the same reach this year. It's going to be Fire Palace.
I was going to say like a heat round where summer sneaks up on you and gives you a burning tug job.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Yeah. Painful, uncomfortable, difficult to explain to friends and loved ones.
Just a fucking Trojan reach around.
Is that when it's a giant wooden horse that does it?
Exactly. Exactly.
The potential for splinters is
That's what I was
quite
thinking,
frightening.
like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And they set the horse
Except-
on fire first. Yeah. It's
yeah.
ouch.
Well, I mean, we'll probably do a podcast somewhere around there. These things happen every couple of weeks, so
Yeah.
we'll be able to check back in on that.
Yeah. Because I just have so much shit in my docket that I'm like, oh no, I gotta handle that. I want to get to Horizon at some point, and I finally bought Returnal, and maybe actually finish Cyberpunk, and
Oh, I'll tell you what you can absolutely fucking skip 1,000%. Rainbow Six Extraction.
Okay.
That game sucks.
Was I not saying it?
Yeah, you're right, Rat.
Bro, it looked like trash from day one. I don't know what they were thinking with that. But go on. Why? Why is it so bad?
Oh, fuck. The tutorial mission alone is enough to make you want to kill yourself.
Wow. Really?
Oh, it's awful. It plays okay. It plays like Siege.
Oh, okay.
But structurally, God, it's like the worst version of Left 4 Dead or Call of Duty Zombies ever.
Oh no.
It's painful. I really hated every moment of it.
Okay.
I immediately deleted it.
Did you Game Pass it?
Yeah, I Game Pass.
Yeah.
it. So, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Yeah.
And definitely nothing gained by playing Extraction.
Okay, so it's garbage. That's cool.
Yeah.
Fucking Siege is going into its 7th year or fucking 20th or something season. I don't know. Yeah. So I mean, if you want Rainbow Six, Siege is still going strong.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. That is the way to do it.
Okay, real quick before we move on or move out or what have you, I just remembered a news story that popped up a couple of days ago where a dude Kool-Aid manned himself through a store wall to steal $250,000 worth of Pokemon gear.
What a legend.
Yeah, you can see like the footage from the CCTV camera from the capture that it's like a huge hole in the drywall because somebody like figured out where the store was and where the storeroom was and just like what the vulnerable wall would be, and he just grabbed like cards and shit and like all sorts of other Pokemon gear, and it was like $250,000 worth.
What a legend. I love it.
Wow.
Dude, he doesn't even want to sell it too. He was just trying to build his deck.
Yeah, there's easier ways, man.
I don't know. Is there? It sounds like it was a pretty weak wall.
Yeah.
I think that's a dream of basically everyone on Earth. To Kool-Aid man through the wall and fucking, oh yeah!
And steal Pokemon cards.
Oh.
Well, what you do
You
at
take
the
that
other
part
side
or
of the
leave
wall
it.
is, yeah. Because, like, by doing so, you've already committed a crime. Like, you could
They might
always commit
forgive you,
more
though, if you
crimes.
serve them delicious red Kool-Aid.
Right.
Yeah. Is it his blood? Is it the Kool-Aid Man himself? Is the Kool-Aid Man the liquid or the glass?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I feel like the arms and legs are attached to the glass, so.
Yeah, right?
It's like a weird jellyfish sort of structure where there's no identifiable organs, but it is in fact living.
Yeah.
What a cool dude.
Yeah. What if you filled
With
it
a
up
K.
with like, yeah. What if you filled that glass up with antifreeze? Is he still the Kool-Aid Man?
That's some real evil Kool-Aid Man shit. Come on over, kids. Have some Kool-Aid.
Spike the Kool-Aid with a little vodka, a little Grey Goose. What happens then?
Well, it'd be just like if you or I drank some vodka and Grey Goose.
Yeah, good times.
I feel like
Obviously.
I feel like he'd handle it a bit better, though.
Wait, sorry, who would handle it better?
Kool-Aid Man.
Kool-Aid.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
yeah. I feel like he's built to filter vodka a little bit better than human beings, I would imagine.
Oh, that's a real question. If you pour liquid into the Kool-Aid Man, is he drinking it?
Yeah.
And if you pour it back out, what does that mean for the beverage you're being served?
Yeah. They were simply so thoughtless in their actions in animating and bringing to life a glass of sugar water. They didn't give a fuck, and now we're just left with this impossible creature who science can't even explain or define, let alone classify.
Kool-Aid Incorporated, how fucking dare you?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But I think that's a good place to leave this podcast off, because we've asked some real questions. I don't think that anyone out there has the answers. If you do have the answers, you should definitely leave a comment on this video or on this podcast, or I don't know, tell someone the answer who can tell one of us, because we need to know.
Yeah, if you could construct some sort of elaborate carrier pigeon system where we will eventually be dropped off like a little scroll with a ribbon around it that tells us what's going on, that'd be awesome.
Final Fantasy VI has carrier pigeons.
It does.
So it's worth it just for that. Honestly, one of those scrolls might contain the answer to the Kool-Aid Man. That's Kool-Aid Man's prime time, 1994.
Oh, he was killing it.
Yeah,
He was killing
That guy.
It was sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Kool-Aid Man's party phase,
Yeah.
which it continues to this day. There's no way the Kool-Aid Man does not party right now.
Yeah, he's a little older, a little fatter, but he's still killing it.
He still knows how to slay.
Yeah.
Hand that guy an electric guitar, and you're gonna see some shit.
Oh yeah.
I bet he shreds.
Yeah, I bet his hands can definitely press the strings of a guitar without also snapping the neck in half. For sure.
Because of his sheer strength, or
Because of his stumbly glass fingers. I don't know what to tell you.
are his fingers glass? I'm remembering the Kool-Aid Man wearing gloves.
Oh. Like the hamburger helper glove.
Yeah. I bet
God,
those two know each other.
Every question one asks about this cursed mascot brings you closer to the plane of madness.
It's the
Question.
ultimate combination. Yeah, plate of hamburger helper and a glass of Kool-Aid.
Here's a real question that's gonna bake your noodles. If the Kool-Aid Man is wearing gloves, if he's in fact wearing gloves, are the gloves, or are they hamburger helper man?
Ugh. I mean, if they're on it, it's like a symbiotic parasitic relationship where he like sucks all the nutrients out of them, and in return they have a place to lay their nasty, glovey eggs.
Cheesy beef flavored Kool-Aid. Drink up, kids.
Fucking cheeseburger macaroni.
Glug glug, motherfuckers.
All right, that's enough of that. This has been Press X the podcast. Thanks for listening along. We have been Paul, Rhett, and James. And this has been episode 5.4 of Phase 2.0. Thank you for joining us on this ride, this adventure, this trip. Come back in a couple of weeks for more Kool-Aid Man related content.
And some video games.
Yeah, we might
Probably
just switch the
video games.
podcast up to be about Kool-Aid and the history of Kool-Aid. I'm thinking, moving forward, why not?
Just name each episode after a flavor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Episode 5.5, Red.
That's right.
Let's go for it. All the way.
Yeah. Yeah. Full approval. Rubber stamped.
All right. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll see you next time.
Bye.